And just in case you couldn't understand what she said, it's Densha De Go 2 for the Sega Dreamcast, and welcome to Retro Core 26. So as you can see, we've got loads of different train tracks to choose from, a nice selection there, including the lovely Komachi, which is the lovely train which runs in the snow. Just in case you didn't know, and you probably didn't know, and not that you really cared either, but I thought I'd tell you. So as you no doubt know, Densha De Go was an absolutely big, massive hit in Japan in the late 90s and the beginning of the millennium. And in fact it's still going even now, because the Japanese absolutely love their trains. You get more train spotting gigs in Japan than you do anywhere else in the world. And I thought England had a lot. But this Dreamcast version of Densha De Go is actually quite disappointing. As you can see at the moment, it looks very, very smooth. But thanks to Taito being the lazy bastards, they've gone with a port of a PC version, or it certainly looks that way. At times throughout the game, the frame rate drops unbelievably low. In fact, it can drop as low as 15 frames per second at some points. As well as that, you've got texture warping, you've got polygon pop-up, and you even got slowdown. You've got a bit of snow there. Absolutely pathetic. Doesn't look very realistic. Oh, the window wipers just suddenly popped on. Don't know where that came from. As well as having snow, you've also got rain as well. Here we are on the Yamanote Sen, which is the circle line in Tokyo. And we're on our way to Ebisu. Now, as far as the variety of tracks go, Densha De Go 2 on the Sega Dreamcast is very good. You get loads of tracks in there. For an example, on the Sega Saturn you had Densha De Go Yamanote Sen, and that's all you got was just that one train line. Where half the actual Yamanote Sen is featured on Densha De Go 2 on the Dreamcast, as well as a shitload of other train tracks, ranging from local trains, express trains, to the Komachi train in the snow, as I mentioned before. Control wise, it's pretty straightforward. You notice a bit of frame skipping there. Basically your D-pad controls your speed up and down, and your B and Y buttons control, your B and X buttons I should say, control your brakes up and down. You also got an emergency brake on, and you can also change the readout from meters to centimeters, but I recommend that you keep it on centimeters. I mean, keep it on meters I should say, because if you keep it on centimeters, the bloody numbers are massive, and it can be really confusing of when you got to stop. You also got a choice of different readouts. As before, you could see we had the digital green readout for your speed, and now we've got the analog readout, which is actually the default, which can be a little difficult to tell how fast you're going at times. So I think a digital one is much better. As well as featuring all the announcements and everything from the real trains, you also get a lovely video of the Komachi train in the snow. Of course you don't get this until you finish the game. Stunning quality as well. Retro gives Densha De Go on the Sega Dreamcast a lovely score of 7 out of 10. You saw the game, and now it's time to see the controller. Now most Densha De Go controllers are usually grey or black, but the Sega Dreamcast one's white. And then it looks very nice. So the little hole in the top there that looks like a cup holder isn't actually a cup holder, it's actually used for keeping your official Densha De Go clock in, or stopwatch. This is the acceleration lever, which has got a nice little springy flip back on it. And this is your brake. Now the blue segment is actually the different steps of the brake, so you can go from 1 to 5. The red section is the emergency brake, which doesn't have any steps on it. Basically you just slam it to the top and go with the emergency brakes. Got a couple of buttons down the bottom, A, B and C, which select through various options on the menu, and your start and select buttons. Around the back of the controller there's nothing, just a wire popping out the back, as you can see. But underneath the controller is a little panel. Now I'm not too sure what's in there because you can't actually open it. Oh, well, let's give it a try. Nope, it doesn't open. Basically it probably just contains a screw to tighten up the brakes. You can see it's got the Taito mark, so it's an official product. So if you do manage to find the Sega Dreamcast Densha De Go controller, I certainly recommend you pick it up. One of the rarer ones to find. One of the very few space shooters to come out in the West, this is Biometal for the Super Famicom from Athena. Now unfortunately, if you did buy the Western version, you're going to get the shitty fucked up American version. Because of course they can't bring a game out like it's meant to be. They gotta cool it up or jazz it up a bit, haven't they? Which basically means fuck it up. Anyway, let's take a look at the Japanese version first. What's the names there? David Onizuka and Cynthia Matthews. Not bad names, I guess. Lovely title screen as well, quite nice. Now one thing that really gets me about the audio and Biometal is the lovely sort of 3D echoey effect it's got to it. Stick it through your amp and you got some really heavy bass music going on in there. Very nice stuff. The thing that makes Biometal so special as far as graphics are concerned are the size of the enemy ships. They're absolutely fucking massive. Look at the size of this bastard. And he's not even one of the bigger ones either. He's a big chunky one as well. Unfortunately, due to the amount of massive size sprites on the screen, the game does slow down every so often. Especially when you come to some of the bosses. You can live with that because quite a lot of Super Famicom shooters slow down. Weapon wise, you haven't got much. You've got your Vulcan, you got this wave laser thing, which I've got now, which you can power up 3 times. In fact, you can power up all the weapons 3 times, and you've also got a standard green laser, just shoots straight and pretty useless. But the main useful thing for attacking the enemies are the spheres, which surround your ship. Now these things don't stay on forever, they actually do wear out. See at the bottom of the screen you've got that little blue energy bar? I hope you can see it. But that's actually the energy bar of your spheres. So basically when your spheres are out, that energy bar drains down, so you've got to put them away to power it back up. The spheres can be spread out to cover the entire screen, then they'll suddenly retract back into your ship, or you can actually fire them out in the direction of the enemy, and usually that kills them pretty much instantly. And believe me, you do need to use these spheres because the game is extremely tough. Here we go, slow down. Thank God the music stays straight. Haven't I seen that boss somewhere before? In an item shoot 'em up? Possible. Okay, let's take a look at the fucked up American version. Look at the title screen first. That title screen is bloody awful. The Biometal logo looks crap as well. And just listen to that music. Yeah, that's right. It's too unlimited. Holy crap. Here's the game freezing again. Not due to the game program, mind you. Due to the way I'm running it. And look, they've even changed the names. The guy's called Kid Ray, and the woman's called Anthea, or Anita. And they've even given them bloody tan skin. Why? Oh, come on, that music is shite. It's not even a good interpretation of the Too Unlimited song. Now, Activision being the dumb idiots they are, have actually used the bass track, or the bass channel, and the music as the same channel as the weapon sound effects. So most of the time throughout the game you've got no bass running in the music. Idiots. Anyway, we only give the Japanese version of Biometal a nice score of 7 out of 10. Pretty solid shoot. Are you a man? The man who loves the smell of burning rubber on asphalt. The man who loves the women to wave their tits at you. The man who grabs ass. The man who takes no shit from anyone. Do you like your cars? If the answer is yes, then fuck buying this game. Cause you're gonna be butt raped. Yep, unfortunately, All Japan Grand Touring Championship is a load of shite. Well, okay, it's not a load of shite, but certainly could have been better. Just look at the frame rate there with those 2 screens running. Oh, bloody hell. And believe me, it actually looks better on this video that you're seeing than what it does in real life, because the video misses out some frames. This game is shite. Now, I really do like my touring car games. In fact, I absolutely adore them. Even Sega Touring Car Championship on the Sega Saturn, which is completely not the bull, did actually have some sort of appeal to it. This game, however, has nothing. Okay, you got your standard moves, you got your standard modes, you got your battle, you got your time trial, and you got your championship. Of course, you've got a selection of cars to choose from as well, most of them being the same car with a different paint job. So we'll start off with the good old Toyota Celica. Or Supra. Bloody hell. So once you've chosen your car, you get to choose different settings for it. As you can see, you've got a standard array of settings there. Nothing too interesting. You've also got a free one where you can go around the track without actually having a time trial or nothing. And you've also got the qualify lap, which is actually 3 laps. Now by looking at it, you think, it doesn't look too bad. What the fuck are you on about? This game looks good. Well, yeah, it does look okay. It doesn't look too bad. But it plays like a sack of crap. Now watch this. You turn the corner, you go skidding all over the place. Anyway, once you've done your time trial, you can actually get into the real race with all the other cars on the track. As you can see, there you go, I'm skidding all over the place, out of control. Unfortunately, the main problem for this game is the controls are just far too sensitive. Even when you adjust the steering tension in the options, it doesn't make that much of a difference. As you can see, I'm sliding all over the place again. Now, I'm not some soft shite who can't play racing games. In fact, racing games are one of my favourite genres of game. And I've played all sorts of racing games, and this is one of the crappy ones. So as well as having bad handling, you've also got the frame rate, which while on this video does look okay, isn't as good as it is on this video. The frame rate can drop to around about 20 frames a second. In fact, it can drop a lot lower than Daytona on the Sega Saturn, and that's pretty bad. In fact, it can drop lower than Sega touring cars, and that's pretty bad. But it does have a few nice things in there, such as actually there isn't any, is there? Alright, the sparks that come out the back of the car when the car backfires are quite nice. But that's about it. Tracks are pretty dull. It's only 4 tracks and 2 versions for each track, short and long version. And 64 owners, go and get yourself Top Gear instead. Don't get this, what you call score of 4 out of 10. We've got a bit of a special this month on the mobile phone game, and we've got quite a few for you. And kicking it all off is Wonder Boy from Sega. As you can see, it looks pretty much just like the arcade. In fact, it's even got the original layout from the arcade machine, which no other home version did have. And it plays extremely well. All in all, a pretty much arcade perfect port. Although I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 levels are redesigned on this, because I remember playing it on the Master System, and there being a level with volcanoes in the background that threw rocks towards you. That level's not on this version. But apart from that, it seems to be pretty solid. And of course we all know that Hudson also had the Wonder Boy license. And here's their version of Wonder Boy for the mobile phone. Adventure Island. And usually you go a guy but finish the game, so now can go a woman. That's complete not a shite! It's far too fast, the animation is pathetic, but the graphics aren't too bad to be honest. But you look at the speed you move, it's well too fast. And there, you just snuffed it. And there's a lovely title here from Taito. As with most of Taito's mobile phone games, the music is awesome. And here we go with Konami's Gradius 1. It's actually a very early mobile phone game here in Japan. It's made in 2003, so it's 3 years old. And it does look a bit chunky these days, but still moves pretty good and it sounds nice as well. Features all the levels from the arcade machine. All look pretty similar. Actually, the music might be better in this mobile phone version. In mono though. As we all know, Konami are lazy bastards when it came to mobile phone game music. Always in mono. And here we go with Gradius 2. Again, mono audio, but the game does look a hell of a lot better than the original Gradius. Eight levels in total. That's certainly challenging. The last level make you pull your head out, it's that bloody tough. And we all love Kiki Kaikai, another one from Taito here, pretty much arcade perfect. Even with a little introduction from the arcade machine. Not a patch on the Super Famicom games, but then again they weren't based on the arcade, were they? This one is. Featuring all the levels from the arcade game, and yet another tough game for your mobile phone. First few levels are okay, but the last two levels, right bastards, really tough. And here we go with this month's main game for the mobile phone. This is Galaxy Force 2, actually released in 2004, 2 years old, and it absolutely looks stunning. I was actually quite surprised at how good it looks. No, especially considering the age of it. It certainly shits on the Mega Drive version, put it that way. And good stereo audio as well. Nice one, Sega. Featuring all the levels from the arcade machine, plus a bonus level as well. Of course, there aren't as many things on the screen as the arcade version, but for the mobile phone it's still pretty nice. And if you listen carefully, it's even got the speech. Yep, and that background palette does actually zoom all the way up to the screen. Unlike the Mega Drive one. Gangan! As we all know, ADK were never the masters of 2D beat 'em ups on the Neo Geo. And I gotta say, this is one of the worst games they've made. It's far as beat-em-ups are concerned anyway. Please excuse the audio going off on the right side there.
Attack!
So basically what it is a scrolling beat-em-up style of a fighter set as a one-on-one beat-em-up, if you know what I mean. Usually a one-on-one beat-em-up is played on one plane, except for Fatal Fury, we can jump in and out of the backgrounds. But then again, it's pretty much one plane, isn't it? This one, you can actually move wherever you want on the screen. The problem with that is, it doesn't work very well as a one-on-one beat-em-up. It's not like playing, you know, those bonus rounds you stick into scrolling beat-em-ups, such as Bare Knuckle or, you know, Rival Turf on the Super Famicom. Another thing which is pretty bad about this game is the animation. The background seems to be animated sort of half decent, to be honest, for its age, but the main character animation is pretty bad. You know, you'd expect a lot more from a Neo Geo. Also, the characters are pretty uninspiring. As you can see, here we got Fuma, or whatever he's called from World Heroes. He's probably the only recognisable character in the game, or at least the only recognisable one I know. All the others just a bunch of misfits, to be honest. You do have a couple of specials. As you can see, my rage bar there was flashing, but it's just gone down. Also, throughout the match, or throughout the round, you can pick up items left in the street by thugs passing by. Not that they do much good though. You end up wasting more time trying to pick them up than actually using them. You flash by the club with spikes on it, you bastard. Anyway, there you have it, that's Gangan. Its adventure course scored of only 5 out of 10. I suppose it was well, no, it wasn't a good idea, was it really? A dumbass idea, to be honest. God knows why ADK even bothered. I'm sure the game's got its fans, but certainly not here at RetroCore. Oh, listen to the speech now. Took me a few times to figure out what she was saying, you know.
Aladdin is the best.
Don't those two robots remind you of some idiots you might know? Here we go, we're going to take a look at the Super Famicom version and the Mega Drive version of Aladdin. Both made by two completely different companies, but I remember when I was younger, we used to have this argument with the Super Famicom fanboys. Actually, I was a bit more of a Super Famicom fan than a Mega Drive fan, to be honest. And we used to have this argument anyway of who had the best version of Aladdin. Now, I always personally thought the Mega Drive version was better, even though I was a big Super Famicom fanboy. So let's just take a look at the two games and see what you think. Well, here we are. We're starting off with the Mega Drive version. As you can see, the animation on the Mega Drive version is absolutely amazing. It uses the special animation engine developed by, I think it's Grandprix is his name, from Virgin. And it's absolutely fantastic. Every now and then, throughout the levels, you get these little cutscenes, not too exciting, and they basically explain the plot of the story. But, you know, at least the artwork and the characters do look exactly the same as the ones used in the Aladdin movie. As far as background music goes, it's pretty nice. There's nothing too amazing there, but a lot of the tunes are from the original animation, which really does add that little bit extra to it. The game is also full of loads of comedy touches and hidden cameos. As you can see here, there's Sebastian the Crab from Little Mermaid. I don't know if he actually appears in the Aladdin movie, I can't remember that. It's nice to see him in this. The actual plot of the game does follow the movie as well, which is also a nice little bonus. It must have been the musician's day off when they made this track. A bit basic, isn't it? I suppose that serves its purpose. Actually, if you look in the background there, you can actually see an old Mega Drive as well. And of course, being a Virgin title, the playability is absolutely spot on, and I think controls very well indeed. So there you have it, that's the Sega Mega Drive version of Aladdin. Follows the movie pretty close. It's got the exact same artwork as in the movie, makes a fabulous use of the Mega Drive's hardware, especially in the colour department. And overall, a very good game. So let's take a look at the Super Famicom version made by Capcom. Now, as we all know, Capcom are a hell of a lot more renowned in the gaming world than Virgin Games, so of course their game must be better. Well, let's sit back and have a look. Right, first thing I noticed, the music seems to be a lot more beefed up than the Mega Drive version, but not all the tunes are from the movie. In fact, I think there's only 2 tunes in the entire game which are from the movie. And what makes it quite disappointing is the sound channel used on this game is actually the exact same one, or the sound engine I should say, not the sound channel. Sound engine used on this game is the exact same one used on Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Now I don't know about you, but when I was playing this game, all I kept thinking was bloody Super Ghouls and Ghosts because of the music. Now the graphics are actually quite nice, not too bad. But the animation is nowhere near as good as the Sega Mega Drive version, and the actual characters do not look as close to the original animation versions as the Mega Drive versions do. There you go, here's one of the tunes from the original animation, and I do prefer it to the Mega Drive version. As far as playability goes, I don't see anything special in this game. To me, it's just the same as all the other Capcom walk-along platformers. If you ever played the Mickey Mouse games made by Capcom on the Super Famicom, you know exactly how this game plays. To me, it feels like the same game, but they've just changed the graphics. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is. Nice little level there, which is in the Mega Drive version. Anyway, there you have it. Personally, I prefer the Mega Drive version, but what version do you prefer? I've seen the two games back to back, so I helped you figure out which one's the best. Oh, this isn't some animation you're watching. This is Hokuto no Ken, better known as Fist of the North Star for the Sega Saturn. And all this footage you're seeing here is powered by the Sega Saturn hardware, using no extra memory cards or FMV cartridge or nothing. It's pure Sega Saturn powered. In fact, I think it would have been better if they did use a memory card actually. It would have cut down on the amount of times it takes to load, you know, between each cutscene. But you know, as it is running on a standard Saturn with no extras, it's pretty nice. So what's the point of the game, you're probably wondering? Well, basically, it's a story. An interactive story, sort of. So basically what you see now is what the game is. You get to watch all these cutscenes, which as I've already said are very nice and very pretty. And in between these scenes you get Ken, who walks along the ruined cities, meets people, has a little chat with them, meets the bad guy, beats the shit out of them. Or more often than not, shit gets beaten out of you. So as you can see here, Ken's just met out some old geezer. I think he's the ex-father at Christmas, and one of his munchkins or whatever the bloody called. And Ken's having none of that shit that they're talking about, so he's off to find someone else. And there you go, he's found a couple of prozzies there. Must be in Thailand, one that was quite young. Anyway, as you're travelling around the cities, you meet the big lugs like this guy here, and you have a fight with them. Now the way the fights are done, unfortunately they're not real-time one-on-one battles, they're more of a janking effort. So you see the bar going up at the top with a little green line on it. That's your power of your punch, so you got to basically stop the green bar near the top. And then under that you've got a couple of kanji symbols. Those kanji symbols denote different types of attacks. Basically, you've got to choose a move which will counteract the opponent's move. Or you can choose a dodge. Now this is where, I mean, if Banpresto used the RAM cartridge for this game, these bits would run a lot smoother than they are, but as you can see, you do get little pauses all the time, which can be quite annoying after a while. There you go, see another pause there. So basically, that's all there is to it, to be honest. Looks very, very nice, and actually sounds very good as well. The speech is really spot on. There's no really muffled speech in there. It's all pretty clear. But unfortunately, to your average Joe, it's not going to appeal to them, to be honest. To the North Star fan, however. So Vechico's going to give a Hokuto no Ken on the Sega Saturn. Let's go to 5 out of 10. Looks really pretty, but not much in there to keep you amused. Unless you're a great big fan of North Star.
なんと水頂点源流部。
大魔界村メガドライブで登場。傑作を超えた超度級の迫力ホラーアクションゲーム大魔界村。戦国を飛び増し始まる。至高のかけらを集め奈落に迫れ。プレイステーション版イニアシャ。そして戦いを制覇したつわものどもへ。
ケンジ、ゲームギアだ、いいだろう。カラーだし、テレビも見れるの。で、400は白黒なの。つまんないね。後で貸してあげるから。
色いっぱいだから
面白い。
ゲームギア
セガ。
Hey, it's almost arcade perfect gaming time! It's the Shop X68000, and this time we're bringing you Super Hang-On! And tell you, it certainly puts the Mega Drive version to shame. Unfortunately, for some strange reason, God knows why, the music's completely buggered up on this one. Now with the original arcade game being analog controlled, you'd expect the home version to be analog controlled. Well, of course the Mega Drive version wasn't, it was digital. But the Sharp X68000 version is actually analog controlled by using the system's mouse. As you can see, I'm going all over the bloody place here. I was getting used to the sensitivity of the mouse. As you can see later on in this little picture here, I become more accustomed to the controls. As I stated the word. Actually, using the mouse for this game is actually very good. It does take a couple of minutes to get used to the sensitivity of the mouse's controls, but once you do, you're well on your way. One thing you should certainly notice is the speed of the game. It really does move at a pace. Now, I haven't played the arcade version in years and years and years, so I can't really comment whether it is identical to the arcade or not, but as far as I remember, it's extremely close, if not the same. I don't know if you noticed them, but some of the rides are actually driving on the side of the road. I don't know if that's a graphic glitch or what. For accelerating and braking, you choose the mouse's left and right buttons, which is pretty simple, I guess. The game also features all the original courses from the arcade version, and of course they are selectable from the beginning of the game when you see the map. So Super Hang-On for the Shop X68000 is yet another classic which really shows the potential the machine had. A lovely retro core score of 7 out of 10.
Brought to you by Sega.
Ever wanted to play Squash in Space?
Cosmic Smash.
Well, if you have, then you should go and see a psychiatrist.
Welcome to Cosmic
Or
Smash.
buy yourself Cosmic Smash for the Sega Dreamcast, because that's what it's like, playing Squash in Space. Basically all the game is a glorified version of Arkanoid, to be honest. You bat the ball from one end of the court to the next. Later levels have you up against certain obstacles which block your ball from hitting the blocks behind it. As well as that, you can do a couple of trick shots which really are essential to later levels if you want to get the blocks in a good time. And that's about it, really. So basically, there's not much to Cosmic Smash. When you first look at it, that is. Cosmic Smash actually is one of those games where you have to better your high score all the time.
Your score is next level.
Basically, what you can see here is the whole game.
37.
This is all it is.
Let's begin.
But it's one of those games which you just can't put down because you're always trying to beat your high score. Like the good old classic days of gaming. So if you're one of those people who are earning for those days gone by, then you could do much worse than pick up Cosmic Smash. I had a great time on it. Critical score of 8 out of 10.
Game over.
It's a PlayStation game. And it's Game of the Month. It's a fucking miracle. You might know this better as Battle Angel Alita due to the animation. This is Gun. Well, that's what it's written as in English anyway. Gunnm. And it's an RPG from Banpresto. As we all know, the main scientist of the game finds an android's head in a rubbish dump, takes it home, makes a body for it. Turns out to be a kick-ass killer machine. So throughout the game you get lots of scenes like this with absolutely no sound at all in the background. Just goes to show you that Banpresto either couldn't be bothered or running on a real tight budget. Another letdown about the game is the fact that it doesn't even have any voices in it. You know, if you're going to make a RPG based on an animation such as this, you're going to at least try and get some voices in there, aren't you? Apparently not. The game doesn't even look that nice, to be honest, and in fact I'm pretty sure throughout the entire game there isn't even one single straight line in it, thanks to the PlayStation's magic bendy polygon warping techniques. But you know, even with all that bitching, it's still a pretty good game, and the thing that makes it a good game is the story and the atmosphere which the game pulls off. In fact, I would pull off a better atmosphere if it had more sound in it. But apart from that, it is actually very atmospheric. And extremely weird as well. As you can see right now, we've got a bit of an ass kicking going on. That's right, the game features a very good 3D battle engine. And in fact, the fighting engine in this game is actually better than a lot of 3D beat-em-ups on the PlayStation. As you can see at the moment, we got the basic model of our main character. And she's got a little dagger, which you can hit the enemies with, and that's about it. But throughout the game, you can learn new abilities. As well as learning new abilities, you can actually go to the main factory, and you can actually hand in, I don't know what you're handing in actually, but some sort of certificate to show us how many people you killed. And with each person you kill, you actually get some bonus points, and those bonus points can be used to buy better equipment, health ups, and so on. This guy's pretty simple, just keep him stuck in the corner. Here you go, you can see the shops here. Nothing too exciting, but I suppose it gets the job done. Another thing that annoys me about this game, well only slightly anyway, is the amount of loading in it. You know, the game seems to load between every single screen you go to. You know, for somebody who spends the time playing on a Sega Saturn or cartridge-based machines, it is quite annoying. But I suppose if you're a PlayStation fan, you only ever play the PlayStation, you're probably used to it. Thankfully the loading's not that long. As you can see here, I'm kicking some guy's ass and I got myself a nice little magic attack as well. Some nice combinations on the way there. Loading. So as I was saying, the game is not exactly the most beautiful, and it's not exactly the most interesting as far as audio goes, but it's the whole atmosphere the game presents which certainly gets you into it. You know, you can't really tell from this 5-minute or so clip the type of atmosphere this game presents. You really do have to get into the game and sit down and play it. But believe me, when you do, you really do get into it. You become in your own little world. It's no easy game either, especially the boss characters really do put up a fight. So make sure you save as often as you can, because if once you're dead, you're back to your last save point. There's no continuation in this game. So yeah, sure, the game's far from perfect, but it's definitely worth checking out. Virtua Core Volume 26, Game of the Month. It's Lupin the Third for the Sega Saturn. Some bloody lovely FMV that is. Loads of good stuff coming up on Virtua Core 26 this month. We've got Densha De Go, we've even got a look at the Densha De Go controller, we've got Cosmic Smash on the Dreamcast, we've got Gunstar Heroes on the Sega Mega Drive. Fuck me, a treasure game. I hate treasure as well. We've also got Midnight Resistance, we've got Star Soldier on the Nintendo 64, we've got GT24 on the Sega Saturn, and we've got loads more coming up as well. But kicking it all off, as I said, is Lupin the Third, The Mystery of the Pyramids, for the Sega Saturn. Now, following the Sega Saturn had FMV that good near the beginning of its life. Oh well. So, being released near the end of the Sega Saturn's life, released in 1998, this game was. Actually, the Sega Saturn was actually still releasing games in 2000. But, you know, the end of its main release of the games, this one came out. And it's full of loads of pictures of lovely Lupin ladies. We just had two, there's another one. So the idea of the game is to travel through the pyramids, stealing all the treasure, just like Lupin does when he's not trying to pick up the women. And surprisingly, even though the game's made by Asmic, they've actually done a sort of decent job with the 3D. You got polygon bending all over the place, you got polygons going through polygons, you got bloody Lupin disappearing through the wall sometimes. But you know, since it's from Asmic, it's not that bad. The main gripe I do have with it is the bloody camera angles. They're effing bloody awful. Unbelievable sometimes. There's only two choices of camera angles as well. Thankfully you can move them yourself using the L and R triggers. Most of the levels contain puzzle elements which you have to solve to get through various points of the level to collect the treasure. Some levels do contain quite a bit of a beat 'em up action as well, where Lupin has to smack the crap out of some guards. Control wise, it is a bit on the stiff side at first, but you do get used to it after a while. The main problem is the camera angles, as I mentioned, so you've got to become accustomed to moving Lupin and spin the camera angle at the same time, unless you want to pause every time you want to turn the camera. And being a Lupin title, it's full of all his little comical touches. As you can see, there's some sort of fucking monkey climb up the wall there. One thing that really stands out in this title though is the audio on it. I don't know whether they're taking the music directly from the soundtracks of some of the original Lupin TV shows or movies, but some of the music in it is really good. It's got that really nice funky 70s style to it. And of course it's full of all the original voice cast for all the original characters. Also between levels you get some really nice cutscenes which explain the story of the game. In fact, I was actually surprised of how much cutscenes have managed to stick into this game. There's an awful lot of them. So you can see Lupin's stole the treasure here and he's got to find his way out of the pyramid. Well, his way out of that certain level anyway. He goes to the next stage. Oh, and more girls! Oh, and another one! Bloody hell! Everywhere! More of a beat 'em up stage, this one. So there's absolutely tons of stages in here. I think it's got well, it's easily got over 12 stages. Can't remember now. It's been quite a while since I've played it, but a certain length of time. Well, it's certainly going to last you a while, not that much. But it's a password option, so or save games, should say. So you can save your game and progress the next day. Which of course, very happy to give Lupin, Stage of the Pyramids, or Mystery of Pyramids, or whatever you want to bloody call it, a decent score of 7 out of 10. Looks like I'm just being killed there, doesn't it? Oh crap, the baddies coming to get me as well. of my favourites from the arcades years and years ago, and here it is on the Sega Mega Drive. This is Midnight Resistance. Probably got one of the best soundtracks out of any run and gun shooting game ever made. And the weird thing is, it's only got like 3 or 4 different tracks in it. So here we go with the Sega Mega Drive version, and as you can see, the first level graphics aren't too bad, but don't get your hopes up, they get much worse the further into the game you get. Yep, unfortunately Data Days were never really known for the great graphical achievements, especially on the Mega Drive. This game is so-so. But that's not what we cared about, is it? We cared about how it plays. And thankfully it does play quite well. Now the original arcade had a really weird control system, which hasn't been that easy to convert to the 3-button Sega Mega Drive pad. Don't forget, when this came out there was no 6-button pad. So you've got a variety of different control methods, and basically the one that I find best is B number 1. What that does is it lets you use the D-pad to control which way you want to walk. Whereas you got one button for jump. The A button starts your gun from firing, and also starts your gun, also stops your gun from firing. And the B button will rotate your guns. So every press of the B button will rotate your gun in a different angle, so you can have it facing 8 different directions. Now this comes in very handy, meaning you can actually walk forward and still shoot backwards. Now with the default controls, you actually shoot in the direction which you're facing, which is really dumb, because on some levels you gotta run forward and you got enemies coming from behind you, and it's absolutely impossible to kill them because your gun's pointing forward, because that's the way you're running. So apart from bitching about the controls, which believe me are not that bad, it's just me bitching too much. Especially when you choose B1 controls, they are actually pretty good. But apart from them, the main point of the game is to rescue your family who've been captured by the main bad guys. You know, your typical story. The weird thing is that your typical bad guy is a fucking alien. It's not that typical after all. Not much of a plot in it really, you just run through the levels, blowing the crap out of everything. Got various different weapons you can choose from, including a couple of bombs as well. We've got this bomb which you can see here, which I'm pretty sure is called the spread. The way you let your bombs off is by pushing up and fire at the same time. Again, due to the control method, if you're climbing up a ladder and you're firing, your bloody bombs are going off all the time. There's nothing you can do about it. But that's just me bitching again. Just ignore it. So anyway, yeah, you got that spread one, which fires up one pod and then a shitload of arrows come down. And you've also got my favourite, which is the nitro, which explodes into like a star, which certainly does some really big damage. And you also got the Homan as well, which is a bit on the crappy side. There's a handy hint: if you want to kill this guy quickly, you're going to lose a life by doing it, but you know, it's well worth it. You can't be asked there waiting for them. Just jump behind the lasers, and there you go, he can't get you. Easy. You can pick your weapons back up on the way up. Going to give me that resistance, a lovely score of 8 out of 10. Bloody classic. undercover cops for the arcade. That's what they probably say on some American TV commercial. You may remember that we featured this on the Super Famicom not that long ago. In fact, I think it was only about 5 volumes ago. And while the Super Famicom version was actually very good, and it did have a soundtrack very similar to this arcade version, it just wasn't as good. But still great for the Super Famicom. This arcade version, however, is absolutely kick-ass. First thing you'll notice is how grainy the graphics look, but that doesn't really bother you because it really adds to the game's atmosphere. It gives it that really gritty feel that beat 'em up should have. Had that really nice country soundtrack in there, and you really get the adrenaline flowing. Means we need to kill this guy here, just stick him in the bloody press. Come on, get in there. So after you complete every mission, get a little rundown of how you did. And depending on how well you do, you might actually get a bonus life. No, it's not a walking can. You know the great feature about this game, you can pick up practically anything. Reminds me of Two Crude Dudes by Dated East. As you can well see, the animation in Undercover Cops is absolutely astounding, especially for a walk-along 2D beat-em up. Usually the animation on these games is a little bit on the stiff side, not on this one. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the same artist that worked on In the Hunt, and also the Metal Slug series, which actually did In the Hunt, also worked on this. Certainly got the same style as In the Hunt. So there were 3 characters to choose from in total, the woman being the best one, the second best guy being this ninja guy from Japan, and the third guy being some sort of, well, fuck knows what he is, some bloody bozo from the States. And the reason why he's so crap is because he's so fucking slow. Might be powerful, but you end up getting your ass kicked trying to get out of the way of enemies. This ninja guy's alright though. You certainly can't beat the English chick. I know I don't mean the fat coward either. As far as moves go, there isn't that much in there. You got a standard punch and kick. You can do a couple of throws. And you got that little special there. And in her case, she sort of turned into a spinning bar by the looks of it, with an explosive attached to her. Whatever it is, it certainly makes a short work of the bad guys. And just look at that dust there when you swing out your big pole. By pole, I mean the Polish Holden. She's not a she-man. Well, she might be, you never know. So Retro is very happy to give Undercover Cops on the arcade a lovely score of 8 out of 10. Certainly one of the best walking on beat 'em ups around at the time. In fact, I prefer it to Final Fight. Hey, it's Shite on time. Bringing out one of the favourites. This is Golden Fighter. And this is a special type of shite. This game is so shite that you're going to keep playing it just to see how shite it becomes. You see that jump? Look at that jump! Fuck me! Wow, must have like 3 or 4 frames of animation there. Yep, Golden Fighter is complete and utter shite. In fact, there are actually 2 versions of it. There's this one, which is the original, and there's Hyper version, which has got slightly better animation, but still a load of shite. Wow, fuck me. Looks worse than half the homebrew games that come out. So the game basically is a walk-along beat 'em up with a bit of RPG element thrown in there. Not that it's going to help it much. Nice idea, I guess. Or you can also play the versus mode, where you beat the crap out of each other in a ring. For some reason, you can even enter your name. All over the bloody place. Come on, just get to the bloody fight. So there you go, you got the little tournament menu just there, which suddenly went off. Now, to its defense, the graphics aren't that bad looking until they stop moving. And not only does the game move like a load of crap, it sounds pretty crap, and it controls, well, it doesn't even control. It's just completely unresponsive. It does whatever it wants. This month, Shite of the Month. Actually, maybe worth picking up if you're cheap enough just to see how shite it is. Yeah, this is probably a racing game that you've never seen before, and I think you're quite lucky that you've never seen it before. It's crap. It's GT 24 Hours, or maybe just GT 24 from Jellico, based on their Model 2 arcade game of the same name. Now you know it's bloody awful because look at the way they spell produced. With an S? Bloody hell. So to be honest, the arcade game wasn't actually that bad, but this Sega Saturn port is awful. And one of the first things I noticed when playing this game is the audio's bloody effed up on it. You know, in these sections it's quite low, and then when you go to the race it's bloody really loud. Anyway, you got 3 courses to choose from, which are actually the same course, Ridge Racer style. You get extended versions of the same course. Got a couple of nice cars to choose from. The cars do actually look quite nice, and they are light sourced as well.
3, 2, 1.
I suppose they handle okay-ish. Well, they don't handle that bad. But the main problem with the game is that it's just so much fun to play. You know, if you're not using the analog pads, the cars do a sort of a judder from left to right. And also, when you do a power slide, it's not exactly how you'd expect it to be. Of course, it does range from each car you're trying to use, but overall, the controls aren't what you'd expect them to be. Also, the computer AI is completely dumb.
How about the car?
Graphically, it may look okay on this video, but believe me, it's not. You know, you got an awful lot of polygon bending in there. There's actually a bit of slowdown as well. And just look at this when you go into the pits. The cruise cardboard cutouts. One nice feature though is when you're racing, the time of day changes from daytime to noon, and then to night, and then back to daytime again. So there's one nice little touch to it. You may also notice that when we go around corners, it does look extremely hexagon-like. Due to the fact that the game is using almost no polygons by the looks of it. you go, we just changed to noon there, or early evening. That's frame rate dropping a little bit there as well. Slow down. So as well as having the standard 3 courses, or the standard same 1 course split up into 3 sections, you can also play them with a reverse track, which does add that little bit of extra to it. Also, if you're playing the GT mode, your car could blow up just like this. Doesn't make the game any better though. Petrichor is going to give GT 24 a score of 6 out of 10. It's Star Soldier Banishing Earth for the Nintendo 64. Now, as we all know, the Nintendo 64 isn't exactly the main machine as far as shooters are concerned. So there's not really much competition for Star Soldier, really. As you can see, in true Nintendo 64 style, everything's pretty blocky looking. But you know, we can't hold that against the game, since that's the way the machine renders polygons. Just the way PlayStation bloody bends everything out of shape, and the Sega Saturn has pop-up. But let's talk about the good points first. Well, one thing which you've certainly noticed so far is the amount of speech in the game. The person have packed the Star Soldier full of speech, and actually very clear speech as well. They've done a really good job there. The music's okay, nothing too special, but as far as cartridge soundtracks go, it's pretty nice. And that's about it really. Well, the presentation's also pretty good, I'll give it that. Some really nice camera angles in there. But see, the main problem with the game is that it's just boring. You know, okay, if you got a Nintendo 64, it's probably the best shooter on the Nintendo 64. But you know, if you've been playing the shooters on the Sega Saturn, you're going to find this one extremely dull. But the main problem with it is that you don't seem to be pressured at any point in the game. There's nothing that really comes up to you and says, hey, I want to kick your ass, you better kill me quick. Basically, you just seem to be plodding from one section to the next. As you can see here, this is the end of level boss. I think it's level 2, I think this is. And you know, it's not exactly getting you into a frenzy, is it? Another problem is the enemy attack patterns. They're just basically the same all the way through the game. Now I know other shooters on other machines do the exact same thing, you know, enemies come on the exact same pattern. But you know, at least there's something there to take your mind away from that. Whether that be a shit on the bullets on the screen, fast-paced moving backgrounds, or you know, a thumping soundtrack. Well, Star Soldier doesn't have any of that. don't get me wrong, the game is good. But you know, it's certainly not going to keep the hardcore shooting fans happy. You've only got one weapon basically. You got a shield which can reflect bullets, and you got a sort of a bomb which shoots out a big laser. But that's about it really. Oh, well, he didn't last very long, did he? As well as having the game in there, you've also got this nice polygon model mode where you can actually see all the different ships used within the game, and also check out the animations. There's also two different modes of play. Being a Hudson Soft game, you got the caravan modes, and in typical Hudson Soft tradition, you got the 2-minute mode and the 5-minute mode, which are both identical. Apart from one's a bit longer than the other. So I saw Soldier on the Nintendo 64, only its retro core score of 6 out of 10. Virtua Fighter for the 32X plays a hell of a lot more like the arcade than what the Sega Saturn version does, and plays a million times better than any 3D fighter on the entire Dragula. That's quite easy to believe that really, isn't it? It's quite funny. So of course the 32X version of Virtua Fighter uses a hell of a lot less polygons than the arcade version, and of course a lot less polygons than the Sega Saturn version. But what it does feature is a load of extra options which aren't available in the Sega Saturn version, such as your display and also your camera angles. As you can see, the character select screen does actually look quite similar to the Sega Saturn version. In fact, I haven't played the Sega Saturn version in such a long time, and to me it actually looks identical. Probably isn't though. And as I said, it's been such a long time since I actually played the original Virtua Fighter that I actually completely forgot how to play it. The original version is nowhere near as fluent as Virtua Fighter 2, 3, and of course 4 or 5. But you know, it's still not that bad.
Fight! 1, ready, go!
The 32X version does, as I mentioned, play just like the arcade original. There are a couple of slight differences in there, but the actual main timing and everything is identical. The only real letdown with the 32X version is the audio. Now I was under the impression that the 32X had some additional sound processors in it, but you know, I don't think it bloody does because nobody ever uses them. Well, almost never. You see, the music in 32X Virtua Fighter is actually generated by the Sega Mega Drive sound chip, which is why it sounds so bloody awful. Speech samples aren't too bad though. I didn't last long there, did I? Smacked in the face by pie.
Fight! 1, ready, go!
Oops. No good idea to pause the game there while I'm videoing it, is it? Oh yeah, just check out Akira's face when he wins the match. Bloody scary stuff. Look at that!